has been interesting to see Ghost, right? Because generally when you see a team go across the ocean and draw on some European talent, you're expecting for big things. And Ghost hasn't quite actualized on that, but I feel like tonight, they might just have the edge. We'll find out. We're hopping into the server. We're hopping into the action. It all starts on Overpass. And while the train is rolling down the rails towards the station, we'll yet to see how this one's going to conclude. But it begins with Ghost on the T side. Here we go. In the pistol, heavy utility investment here for Ghost. On the other side, a kit in the hands of Tori. Keep an eye on that. And heavy, long swing early. 4 players out to fight. They're going to find the T's as well. There's a lot of action here. Nobody checking this long duel. But the first casualty comes as Mira falters. And now an exchange of fire. And there's a path through towards bathrooms if they can get the bomb back over. Emily is stuck. Back by the wood panel. Needs to try and escape. Smoke burned here early. But look at the space that's been taken here by Ellie.
Yeah, and that huge flashbang coming on over, it stalls everything early round. Now they got to keep on going. Ellie goes down, drops like a sack of potatoes. Now Violet still here, still swinging. Tori holding the line, spots players crossing, but really can't do anything about it.
They gain this space. That's the problem with going with such an aggressive move with the stack, is you leave massive gaps, and Ghosts were quick to recognize the voids that were created. So bomb taken away. They do still have that kit. It can be picked up now that Tori's been dropped. Has been retrieved. Eyes on Gadfly for that. Time's starting to become a little bit of a concern, but as Emily tries to withdraw, she gets caught. And now it falls to just one, and Pinky Kiki can hold on no longer. Plenty of time for this defuse. No problem whatsoever.
Yeah, there's a couple of things in there. I was expecting, there was a flash, I believe, on Seven Licious that I was expecting to come to some sort of fruition. Didn't end up really getting used. And a smoke on Gadfly, which they didn't end up needing to use on that side, is the more important one. Didn't need to isolate any fights, but just swinging, taking it. I think a lot of that is the fact that they had enough information, they'd done enough damage early round to make this feasible. They had any less players there, then there's a little bit more of a crossfire. They're not going to be able to break that as easily. But very nicely played in the early round there. Now, bomb plant goes down. We are going to see the force spike come on out, and it is by no means something to scoff at here. They want to do the economic damage and stunt the growth early for Nocturnal.
Just going to group up here. Not going to probe the periphery like we saw in the pistol round. Perhaps wisely, Nocturnal playing a little bit more boilerplate. This is an opportunity for Tori. Kill can't be found. And now, once again, there's a path towards A. And second kill goes through. Now there's big problems. The rotations might be a little late here. Mads, it's going to be tough to get stuck back in towards that site. So that's a bomb plant almost certainly conceded. And at this point, Nocturnal might be thinking about pulling the plug. They're going to try and set up for this, but in a 3v5, I don't like their odds here. There's just too many crosshairs on this site.
Yeah, and this look, it's already been accounted for. This flashbang, it's going to need to do miracles, and it's going to be good, but it does not find Seven Licious up close, and I'd be cutting my losses if I was Nocturnal right now.
Seems like they got the memo. Backing away, hesitant about it, expecting some form of a chase, but this one's a clean sweep for Ghost. 5 alive, easy take of the site. Just sticking together with the group, finding the gaps, finding a player isolated from bathrooms. The Nocturnal defenders not really in a position to be able to play off of each other when that hit came through. I think maybe the pace catching them off guard on that one works out beautifully for Ghost, and the force buy succeeds.
I can't help but wonder what would have been different if Tori doesn't peek in that situation. Because she spots so many cross, and if she just ducks back for a second and she doesn't take that fight with the 4th player crossing, I think it was, then she doesn't get wide swung. They might just completely overlook her. But ultimately, at the end of the day, not how the cookie crumbled. The money's going to be in a weird situation. I kind of like that they're trying to get Violet onto the scouts early. She is... I mean, she is being dubbed by some of the North American community casters as violent, and I think she makes it known why pretty quickly. So I like the idea of getting her onto the scope, but this could be damaging in the long run if they can't find at least something off the back of it. I mean, nothing early round, but so much space. They've given a lot of respect here to Ghost Gaming.
Just that first engagement. Tag on. Mira knocked down low. Arcadia player to watch. Already limping in this 3rd round. So Ghosts seem like they're going to form up with the numbers here once again. Having detected some resistance here towards A. They want to bring the pain this direction.
Utility is going to be spotted. Jump spot's still not going to see anything, but a second, third piece, they're going to have an idea that something's amiss. Here we go, Tori spamming away, gets the first. That flashbang is amazing. They run her on down, but she still finds another, and that is criminal. The site is going to fall, but the scout, not quite in a position really to work any magic here. Bomb going to be teased with going down. Yeah, the health so low, and with these weapons remaining, especially that MP9, I've got some queries.
That's a massive kill to find early. Gadfly playing a little bit ahead of her teammates and suffers for it. If Mira hadn't been able to capitalize there, the doors were wide open. But as you can see, Ghoster holding this one very far.
Yeah, nothing really to be done here. Well, maybe, actually. Flash goes over the top, and there's a kit, but Smoke, it's going to be a Hail Mary. It's a little bit of a bait and switch as to who gets on, but there it is. Lunari lines up too, needs to tip back in, can't find the kit, doesn't have the time. Now one last engagement, might just decide to get out of dodge, but I think both fall here. It is a complete wipeout, but Ghost Gaming, they will succeed in finding that second. It's expensive, but at the end of the day, it's a round. Criminal. No, this
Ops.
is... Oh, yeah, maybe.
I was just going to say, ops out for Emily. Always fun to see. Not going to be able to land the first shot, but this boost up over the wood panel. Gets nicely blinded by a flashbang. Now the USP strike. This is getting very interesting indeed. Kiki dancing in the playground, and she's the one having all the laughs. Eventually brought low. This has already gotten more dangerous than a USP round should. But Ghost Gaming want to cut their losses. They're going to leave the guns. They're going to leave the guns here. That's a huge coup if you're Nocturnal.
Yeah, that is certainly an interesting call to be made. And the fact that Piggy Kiki gets 3 there. The Flash, I was about to praise the Flash for Nocturnal, but I can only give it so much credit when it was so perfect, yet they fumbled the bag so badly off the back of it. You know, that should have been maybe 1 kill, maybe 2. The fact that she gets a 3rd with the sidearm is something else, and there's nothing really that can be done. Weapons will be picked up, kind of a consolation prize, and the rest of the team should have the money to buy around it. Going to be missing a couple of bits and pieces here and there, I think, and we're still not... Maybe we see the AWP come out. Maybe Lunari's got enough. But I don't know. I'm still waiting to see Emily to AWP get in the server, you know? We've not had a chance to really see it, get anything. Piggy Kiki gets 3, and the rest of the team doesn't really have to do anything. It's a little bit of a holiday for them. They can go and enjoy the beer garden, you know?
Good old Wursthole.
Good old Wursthole.
All the scenic spots. Great menu. Highly reviewed.
Michelin star, I've heard.
Well now. Price is going to be shooting through the roof then. Unlike the price of knives.
Ooh, too soon, too soon. Not for me. I mean, I'm broke as anything, you know. I didn't lose anything in all of this, but I'm sure somebody out there is.
Every time I've ever thought of investing into a nice skin, I've thought about paying bills instead. And I do that.
It's, that's because that's what heroes do, is pay rent. Oh, talking to heroes, Mira leading the charge, the tip of the spear for her team, but actually they decide to back out a little bit. They hear a little bit of resistance, and they're like, nope. Don't even want to tempt it. They've not really got eyes on the other side. The smoke is causing some problems. Swing out from Gadfly is egregious and punished, but Lunari still does manage to find 1 amidst all of this. Piggy Kiki pushes on out, and that's going to alleviate the pressure, give them the entry point they need to get the rest of the team on board. Now,
substantial damage onto a couple of these players already. You've got that AWP as well. You're highlighting it, waiting for it to see it come through. Ryle's got this gun, and Mads may have been lost in all the chaos here in water. Now Tori's going to create some space for Mads to get active. Needs to get that swing off of her teammate. Does exactly that. 2-on-2 now. Plenty of time still on that clock. And a kid on Violet. Emily, the op lurking just over. Misses the first opportunity. Going to have to duck back down. And now, all on her lonesome, Mads. And she clutched this up. Emily with the weapon swap gets it done. Back to the op retrieved, and it's Ghost on top for another round.
Something that I have in my notes about Ghost Gaming is that it's mostly on their CT side, but we're seeing it a lot more and a lot better on their T side here as well, is the trade spacing on this map specifically is second to none in the region, pretty much. And you see it a lot in the sort of in the post plants on the T side, but very much just generally on the CT side. And it makes it very, very difficult, is that if you don't do the early damage, if you don't, if you leave them with enough pieces on the board to establish a crossfire, it's done. It's done. And also, I am having a little bit of a side eye over towards Violet. Now, I'm a little bit of a chaos enjoyer. I'm a big fan of the shotgun, but what about you, Mike? How do you feel about the Mag 7 amidst all of this?
On Overpass, it's a little bit tricky to make it work. Down in towards Khan's going to be your best bet, so that's where she is. Had a little bit of extra scratch with that op dropped over and the AK saved, so why not? Get a kill or two. Still going to have plenty of money, 3,500 in the bank. Why not see if somebody's going to give her a little opportunity here around the corner? I think it's not a bad idea. Now, a Zeus, though. That's a true artful weapon. Deagle, pretty good as well, Mads. Ripping heads off of shoulders. Things are going to start to get interesting despite this minimal investment. Kiki needs to correct the score. Does exactly that, but dropped to a USP. This is getting downright deadly. Oh, Mag 7 ineffective on that smoke fade. Just down to 2, but we've already seen what the Deags can do. And Tori's looking to bring it back into effect. Can't find the headshot this time. And with that, if the bomb can escape, this should be over. Hunted down, Mads done. Just a little bit of chaos for you there, Affinity.
I love a little bit of chaos, and that's what the other regions don't get quite to the same extent as us. No other region, and I'll say this with a very bold statement, I may be corrected, but I don't think I will. No other region has had a player use the XM on every CT round of Nuke, other than North America. Right? We are the only region that's had that level of chaos. We're the only region that has that level of crazy. And, it's a little bit of a signature blend, isn't it? And it doesn't quite pay off in this one, maybe in the next. Violet's got the AWP one out, and I don't know whether they realize Ellie's crossed, but the smoke and the back away, definitely a mercy here. Her life very much depending on that one. And Ellie toying with the idea of staying, toying with the idea of going, and sees a little bit of debris fly past her and decides actually just to hold her ground here.
Getting really adventurous with this AWP. Violet's taking some serious risks. Khan is open. There's no information to guarantee that this is clear. Gadfly's come over to give some support, but this is still just jumping and spotting and trying to give a little bit of an early warning system. And it pays off. Okay, big risk, big reward. Kill found. Ellie done and dusted. That's a nice coup early on, but Nocturnal, they've seen some of these early advantages. They need to actually be able to capitalize this time. And Tori, once again, is very extended out here in the bathrooms, dropped with no chance for a trade. We've seen this a couple times now. The positioning from Tori is just a little bit fast and loose with her life, and it's going to leave Gadfly in a really tough spot. Support from Mads here in bathrooms, but ultimately it's got to be Gadfly to take first contact. Decent damage, support now coming up, flashbang to set it, but it doesn't really catch. It's Mads instead, overlooked, unexpected, who now alleviates some of that pressure. And this time, the site hit itself is disintegrating for Ghost. All onto Emily, an op that she might just want to save.
Got so tunnel visioned on the elbow she spotted. She didn't even think to have a look to her right. But there we go. Second round on the board. It comes a little bit late. It's a little bit labored. And I don't know about you. Some people would suggest that 5 rounds on the T side is already just beyond what anyone should ever be asking for. So Nocturnal, they've got a lot to try and grasp back here. But as you were saying, it's these really risky plays that kind of Nocturnal and Nouns were known for, is these players that are kind of loose cannons a little bit. They are a very structured team that plays in a very sort of puggy style. And it makes it very difficult to play against because you don't expect some of the egregious peaks that you get. Oh, they're walking through the smoke, and you never want to disrespect a smoke like that. They line up, they're taken down in such a fashion, and quite honestly, hand slapped out of the cookie jar rightfully.
So that moment there, to me, speaks to maybe too much rigidity in what they're trying to do. They have a game plan. The idea is we're going to go through this monster tunnel. Presumably there was a timing on a flashbang earlier, but they caught a flash themselves. You could see the players all stall out in that smoke. They waited for that smoke to fade, and they all just walked through. You can't really do that and expect to not get punished in the game of Counter-Strike. You needed a flashbang, something to set that play up. And it felt like maybe there was a cancel call that should have come in that didn't come through. Well, we see the result. Lunari's able to absolutely feast here and just flummox Ghost's ability to do much of anything in this round. Piggy Kiki going to be the hero. Flashbang's good this time. And oh my goodness, how has this turned on its head? Piggy Kiki has a chance to clutch this up. One player on the site knows where the other is. Has some information that Tori isn't close at hand, but a reload while rounding the corner. Mad's unexpected. And that is going to be Nocturnal locking down what always should have been their round.
So many faux pas to talk about in that round there. I don't understand the decision to reload as you're running around a corner on a site that you have zero information on. Seems like a little bit of a mistake. If you're running out of bullets, you pull out the sidearm in a situation like that. The fact that, you know, in a blink of an eye, Piggy Kiki's got 2 and Emily's got 1 is terrifying. But the fact that it doesn't go any further, good on Nocturnal not to, you know, see it slipping and to try cling on to the rope and all that. But here we go, Tori. Ooh, looks away, isn't quite gonna get the fight in mid here, but Violet gearing up for it instead. It's gonna be a lot of people heading her way, and she's got a very clunky weapon to work with, but luckily she is a master with it. Second shot is missed, sidearm comes on out, spraying away, can't quite find anything, but Tori's gonna have to run on over through long. They've not followed her up, but she's not gonna get there in time to stop this bomb going down. Ellie's watching this. Ellie's gonna take her on down every day of the week. Mad's still got a line of sight onto this site. And once bomb goes down, it's not really much of a defense left to hold on to it.
There's something, though. I mean, anytime you give an all-up to these unarmored players, it's going to give them so much more to work with. Incendiary pretty much seals this. You got to back away if you're Ellie. Really could consider just saving the AWP here, but going to stick around on the angle. Going to lose your life. Steal a bomb plant and a couple kills of damage. Not the worst thing in the world if you're Ghost.
No, you could be pretty content with that one, keeping the economy as humble as possible. But the issue is we're getting to the point in the half where that's not really going to necessarily matter too much on some of these players. Maybe potentially you can whittle down that last round, but realistically the game plan needs to be focusing on yourself more than doing damage to your opponent right now. They've already got 5 rounds, so at the end of the day, that's fine. They could lose everything else and it would raise eyebrows that, you know, they've lost 7 in a row, but we'd still be fairly lenient on our criticism. The deep Molotovs here have been pretty damning. Early round, late round, and the utility usage just all round has been pretty stellar to speak of. Tori, that is something else of a peak. They are not expecting her right under their noses, but it does get traded. Violet's nearby, but they know that she likes to play on this divider angle. She's going to get flashed off. She's not going to find anything.
A little bit of support utility from Matt just to help her up or slip back away. This is a little overexposed, though. You want to be taking those deeper angles here. Not a lot of cover. Now you start to backstep for Violet. Has come through at the right time. Wanted that peek, though, towards the divider while they try and set up util. Not going to connect it, but it's information that's going to send the rotate around. Gadfly coming into support, so they're going to have 3 bodies on site. And Lunari starting to encroach on that flank as well. Kills coming through. This is looking good for Nocturnal. It's looking very good indeed as that ult finds home once again. And all 4 players stick alive. Just the early casualty of Tori, more than compensated for by her teammates.
More than. And it looks risky for a second. We're raising some eyebrows. We're like, this is a very exposed position. But that, I guess, is Violet's style, as we called her violent earlier. And she is, you know, maybe not showing it as much necessarily in the outright, you know, frags to deaths ratio right now. But she's known for this very aggressive style of AWPing where she seems to be so far out of position that it shouldn't work. And then a well-placed flash from her teammates and, you know, she peeks out, she finds headshot. I want to know what her headshot percentage is with the AWP. Because I know it's not just this round. I know it's been across the board that she's finding these micro angles to work with. And we talked about it is now the economy starts to come into play a little bit more. But for the side of Ghost, they're down on the Tech-9s, trying to save up for something in that final round. But Tech-9 rushing North America is not to be overlooked too soon.
I think this is the first time I've heard someone request the headshot percentage on an AWP. Not typically the thing we're concerned about, but I like it.
It's happened enough times. It's happened enough times that I've got
Look at the timing.
questions that need answers. Oh, the timing
They're
is
past the boost.
immense.
They get the kill, but they may not expect these two players to be this close. And I think Mira realizes the opportunity here. A little bit more firepower would have been huge. Sevenlicious doing what she can, but what she can is not too much. If there was a rifle in the hands of that first player, things could have gotten very interesting indeed. As it is, nothing doing, and Nocturnal back in the lead. A recovery to 7 would be huge here, considering how dire it looked after they fumbled the second round force, anti-force rather. This would be a great recovery. I agree with you that if you look in a vacuum, the 7-5 is not really that concerning, but nothing's in a vacuum. 6 rounds in a row gets the vibes flowing the right direction.
It most certainly does. Momentum-heavy teams, we talked about how they've got a very puggy style, and the momentum can play quite heavily into that. Again, super quick into water. They've got nothing stopping them. Spray through the woods, just really going to stop anybody having a little bit of a look up. But nobody really wants to take this fight, not after last time. Sevenlicious is going to be hanging around just in case, but her teammates looking to pivot up towards that top site. Actually, a lot of space to work with from Ellie's early position here. Tori still just diligently holding on to whatever she can. Slowly backing away, though. Something, the back of her mind's worrying her. Now that long control is going to start to fall as well, and before they know it, they're sort of being pressured on all fronts here.
Question is going to be if Sevenlicious can do anything to hold the presence here towards B once the action starts up top. Try and catch the timing on this. Here comes the util Tori, loving to play in the smokes, as always. They're bumping around on this, and Mira knew. Mira knew something was amiss. Still, they have to get past Violet's up. Here by the sign, committed out, but there's no long presence to pinch this, so it is just Violet with no extra threat. Straight up duels here, able to pluck players, but overextends, and this time falters. Mira, 3 huge kills to clear out that A spot. Gonna be able to plant the bomb. Gadfly's ahead of her teammate. Might want to stall this out a little bit. Wait so they can work as a tandem.
They've got the time, they've got kits available, so stalling might in fact work. Mira gets one, a lovely spin around from Lunari, but going 1 for 1 on the kills right now, you just can't afford. Pushing on forward, this AWP is holding for it though, right into the barrel of Emilite, and that is going to lead us right into the halftime break.
2 a.m. in the morning, and your anxiety's calling. You lay in your bed, but it feels like you're falling. Do you recognize that feeling? The demons under your ceiling, when everything hurts and nothing is healing. Yeah, I don't even wanna be awake, cause every second that I live is like a wasting. Can you help me start a replace all the memories that stand in my ways? You know what I really hate the most is that happens to me is like a ghost. It's so far away, I only wanna be okay. Tell me why should I stay awake? If only dreaming can erase the pain. Tell me why should I waste another minute staying in this critical phase? I'm just praying for some better days. I'm just praying for some better days. I'm just praying for some better days. Some better days. Some better days. I'm just praying for some better days. It's too late in the evening, I should probably get some sleep, but I just can't seem to set my mind at ease. I can find an escape, there are many doors I would take, but I can't make one of them become a way. So I'm drowning myself in the media, cause I don't wanna face what I'm feeling yet. I am scared of fighting this alone. I've tried to turn on the light, but my demons know how to hide. Lately there is just no end in sight. Tell me why should I stay awake? If only dreaming can erase the pain. Tell me why should I waste another minute staying in this critical phase? I'm just praying for some better days. I'm just praying for some better days. I'm just praying for some better days. Some better days. Some better days. I'm just praying
Welcome back here from the half, all even. And that could spell trouble for Nocturnal, as now they need to get it done on their own T side here of Overpass. Fast play through Monster, wasting no time about it, cutting me off as we are straight into the action. Bomb looking to get planted early, and it's a retake setup for Ghost, but they find the kill. So this is what they were looking for. They'll allow that bomb plant. They will concede it, but now they need to get the retake going. At least early it stacks up well, but 7 Lish is contributing some headshots here. Delta is low, but the kills have been well earned. Falls just to 1. Emily, the veteran, has to get it done here. She's got the kit. She's got some time, but needs the headshots. Able to get a reload off behind the pillars, dancing around this. And Violet doesn't want to give her the fight, so Emily duking out Lunari. They may not realize she has a kit. They may not realize she has a kit. Oh no, Emily's just going to be able to snatch this one away. Bomb not planted for construction. The post-plant fumble. Oh no, Nocturnal.
She gets the kill as well as the cherry on top there. And it's such a difficult one. It's such an awkward place to plant the bomb. And I think you can see when Emily goes to go and defuse it originally, she seems a little confused that it's not planted, you know, default or anywhere near, right? That it's behind the pillar. And I think a little bit of faux pas, if you're going to plant it there, you cannot be pushing back into construction to try and hold from there, especially if you don't know if there's kids. Little bit of a difficult one. Ellie, I've had thoughts about this weapon all season. It's picked up real traction in the North American scene, and I'm not particularly happy about it.
Yeah. It's a little more justifiable post this slight nerf to the MP9.
Yeah.
But let's be real, it wasn't much of a nerf to begin with. So it's a little tough to justify over the generally more effective MP9. I guess the biggest advantage is just if you want to consistently be able to smoke spam, but that's a niche case. I'm with you. It's not always a great look, but hey, preference sometimes wins the day. Emily gonna make the Famos work for her very nicely here, and the bomb goes down.
The fact that she does that with, full blind, essentially. Ooh, Mira, I think just about missed the timing, but she's still got the angle to work with here as well, rounding the corner. She's about to commit murder, daylight robbery, gets the first low HP on the second. Lunari is going to drop. Violet going to get smoked off. They're going to tap that bomb. They're going to bait her on out. Is, in fact, baited out, but into 3 waiting gun barrels. And defuse all the time in the world for that to come on through as they secure themselves an A and an early lead into this half.
And a nice couple of rifles as well to take into the next. That's a very nice way to build up. It was the force buy. I am curious with the damage done if you'll see the temptation to force back in here for Nocturnal. I mean, they did get the bomb plant. They can actually put a fair amount behind this. The decision point. This is an inflection point, I would say, as far as where they want to take this. And yeah, we are seeing the force. I don't mind this. I think that the reward, if you can pull this round off, is so immense that it's worth a little bit of extra risk.
Majorly so here. And now waiting. This smoke doing a lot of heavy lifting to hold at bay the onslaught, but it doesn't look like it's going to get respected. This time, they learned from the mistakes of Ghost. They're going to flash on over at Piggy Kiki. Blind for days. She's blind again. She's not going to spot anyone crossing, but no one checks her. That's the worst part. It's such a good start, but it falls a little flat. But 2 kills come on through just to bring this back a little bit. More being found by the pistols, and Mira's frantically trying to piece something together. One of these players low HP, but realistic. What can you do? The bomb hasn't gone down, but they've got a minute. They've got time. They have got bullets. They have got health on their side. And there you have it. A round on the board early on this time. And not going to let Ghost Gaming get ahead of themselves.
I think Nocturnal maybe got away with one there. No one checking the toxic barrels there. Really could have been worse. 1-for-1 exchange is about the best case scenario when you let Piggy Kiki just go completely unchecked like that. That could have been bad. But hey, we talked about the risk reward. Here's that reward. They've got the money. Not so much for Ghost. Gonna take the eco here. Emily even buying all the way down. Not a lot of money, to be clear, but gonna be on $0, so presumably an SMG into their next rifle round. And here comes the aggressive maneuver.
Imagine.
Tori's coming. You can see her very active on it. She's alone. She's saying, go into B, go into B. They're all trying to chase me up here. There's no one on the B site. And that's exactly what her teammates are doing as Tori finds that kill by the playground. Now Mads can control the rotations. Now this is an ideal scenario for Nocturnal.
Oh, very much so. Eddie's going to burn alive. Mads immediately on the readjustment here. Amira, I mean, what are you going to get done with just this Desert Eagle? Spam through the door, and most of it connects is brutal. There's a little bit of a window. Mads jumping, hopping around, hoping to spot anything. Now, a little bit ahead of that, but the moment the nade goes over... Oh, it's not even going to be the nade. It was a Rube Goldberg machine, I think they're called, of just death waiting there. As you see the nade go over, but it's not the nades because the flash has gone over, but everyone's blind, but there's a spam through the wall, but it's not the spam. And then it's just Violet at the end of the day.
When do we add the bowling balls and dominoes?
Oh, even better.
Off we go into the next. Seems like they wanted to test the B site again. Was that an incendiary not extinguished? Some sort of odd exchange there with the smoke burst.
Yeah.
Chose not to test it, just let it fade. And you have seen a fair amount of utility damage already onto Tori. She's out towards playground alone.
Love
Lone
this
wolf.
one out. Oh, it kind of falls a little bit difficultly and awkwardly there. Sevenlicious only good for one.
Well, able to get the reload off. Smoke going to be needed for cover here, but overwhelmed up and over. That was a risk, but Lunari hunts it down. Exposed towards heaven, and Mira will capitalize. I can work into the retake, and the health is so low on Mads. Tori not a whole lot better, but can set up some util for the teammates. Mortar strike on in. Solving some of these targets up for the post. Mads playing here to try and bait for the teammate. Bait not necessarily needed. Mads, well done on no health to get that first kill. And pull Nocturnal into the lead.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. You talked a lot about the HEs there, and I was worried that they were going to play a little bit more of a factor because they did really tag up a lot of these players early round here. But alas, that's not even what the damning factor is at the end of the day. I think Mira, staying up top there, she drops on down, and that means that they have a very one-dimensional approach to trying to retake this back. Because whilst there's the allure that somebody's still up there, crosshairs are still drawn, and she has a little bit of a presence. She has the opportunity to go for a little bit of a pincer, but she goes, drops down, joins her teammate, and I mean, the moment that they don't see anything up in Sniper's Nest, they immediately know what's up. They know that another player's already come down. They know that there's nothing coming from Connector, so all attention just gets laser focused on your exact location. There's no allure, there's nothing to draw the crosshairs, so uncomfortable one, and it's going to be even more uncomfortable looking at the buy that Ghost Gaming have here that realistically should net double digits for Nocturnal.
I like this decision to pause, though, right? Because this is where it feels like it's gone off script for Ghost. You have a little bit of an exchange early on, okay. But at this point now, you're on the back foot. You're right. This buy is going to be dire. They're going to be saving for the next. You're going to be seeing double digits on for Nocturnal. So it's not even necessarily about this round that you're talking about. It's about the next gun round. The next gun round for Ghost is the critical one. That's the one you have to have. Because reminder, in this series, this is Ghost's map pick. Huron Overpass. They want to be showing their best face. And if they can't succeed in the next gun round, they'll just never really get a chance to stabilize that economy.
No. And chances will start running very, very few and far between after that. Mads waiting, can hear a little bit of shuffling. The peek on out, has to be careful, but I don't think they're ready for it. They line on up perfectly. Only really needed 2 bullets to get the job done. Now Tori's got so much space just being held. They've got everything they want and more. Nate's not going to go deep enough really to do much, but the smoke's going to be dissipating in a matter of milliseconds anyway. And they know what they've got to work with a little bit more. Push up long. Ellie's here, but Ellie has only got a pistol to work with, tapping away. Tori's going to find the pick. Sevenlicious not able to find the trade instantly. Now going to be spammed away through the side. Peeks one out, knows that she is a dead woman walking either way. Might as well go down swinging. And that leaves Piggy Kiki on the other side of the map. And a monumental task and nothing really to try get it done with.
Best case scenario, you get a gun and you run. That's the best case scenario, which is never a place that you want to be in. This will be No P250 1v5. Just not enough tools in the toolkit right now. And cannot get it started. I actually did get the dink there, which is nice. But that's little consolation in an otherwise unimpactful round for Ghost Gaming. Here's the investment. They've once again prioritized the AWP for Emily. I'm curious about how they're going to feature it, because you have to have this round. So if there's something you want to show, if there's some sort of trick to try and get that AWP a pick, now is the time to deploy it for Ghost. This is the time to work whatever ace they've got up their sleeves onto the table.
Indeed. Quick update from the off-stream game, by the way. Map 3 for FlyQuest Red versus Shimmer, and FlyQuest are up 8 rounds in a row, and it looks potentially to be a 9th soon, so chaos really reigning across the entirety of the North American region today. Forecasts predict absolute banger games, but weird and unpredictable results. Talking of weird and unpredictable, yeah, there's the hit.
The hit.
With one.
Couple big kills coming through. Ghost wilting. Now they need to save. They've got that op. It was in the wrong position to have impact in this round. You got to cut your losses. Need something going forward. Mira gets that kill with the Molotov that might coax them in, but it's such a huge risk at this juncture. Oh, this is an agonizing decision to make now. Bomb ticking away. No kit to defuse it. They're gonna try and risk it. They're betting it all. They're pushing all the chips in towards the center of the table. And now, actually, with that kit retrieved, they're going to back away. So that was the object. They are bailing. Ghost cutting their losses, letting Nocturnal on to 11.
I mean, it's a difficult one, isn't it? That you've got to think about what comes next, but there's not really too many rounds more that you can do that. We can talk about looking at the economy and how the economy is going to play into things, right? But at the end of the day, you need something, and at some point you've got to go for a Hail Mary. Yes, you can save, but they're 1 round away from map up on your own map pick, so something's got to be done, and you can't keep saving forever.
That's true. That's true. But I think that was the prudent choice, just considering how rough it was to get back through. Now we see if they can pay it off this time. Once again, Emily going to have an opportunity to make that AWP sing.
An opportunity.
Hey.
That was low-hanging fruit, but I had to get that in sometime. Sevenlicious, I like this little bit of a tuck in here. Got a bit of a pincer, but the worry is... nice, well-placed flashbang is going to catch them both out of position.
Tori's found the gap. She's out towards long. There was nobody playing this. Emily's come back to address it. So now there's no upper on the angle. This could get interesting. How far does Tori want to try and take this? Meanwhile, this aggressive posturing. There's the tag. Okay, so Tori has been smacked on the nose with the newspaper. Is going to back away. And likewise, Ghost dismantle their aggressive setup here towards B. Nades to cover their escape. Didn't really find anything conclusive for it, so this initial skirmish leaves something to be desired for both sides.
Very much a switch up at the pace here. The fact that they've not gone for any real engagements for this long has got Ghost Gaming a little uncomfortable. Ellie toying between both angles, the weight of the world on her shoulders. Sees the utility. Throws a little bit of a mod of her own to try and make sure that she only really has one angle to focus on, but by the time she's even looking, she's already been run on down, mowed down by this offense. Molotov goes deep sight. It's not going to matter because Sevenlicious is already dead. Piggy Kiki doesn't really want to peek this. Has Mirror as support here, but what do you really expect on the other side of this? The jump on down, she's going to get plucked from midair. Gadfly goes down, and Emily now left with the orb. We talked about to save or not to save. They're not going to let her get out of here alive. Surely not. She peeks on out. It's desperation personified, and Lunari's the one to find the pick, and that is map point.
You talked about these teams as being momentum teams. Well, certainly all of it's been going in Nocturnal's favor, and that round felt like a typification of that. It just, Ghost had some ideas in the early game, but then once the util round ran out, and they didn't quite have anything to show for it, they just lost a lot of the straight-up fights on the take. That's tough. That one's going to be tough for Ghost. And now you see the effect. It's going to be SMGs and FAMI to try and hold off what's starting to feel a little inevitable here, as Nocturnal on this T side, on this attacking half, have just been an absolute bowling ball of momentum towards this map win.
I am so glad that I've met somebody else that just naturally calls it FAMI. I am So glad. I thought that I was alone in this, but
It's the scientific name, of course. For
it
plural.
is, exactly. I was trying to explain to my partner earlier, whilst we've got a tech pause, that the plural, like, chocolate mousse was meese. He wasn't having that one. He was distinctly not happy at the idea of that. But I think Famai works, right? It's nice.
Yeah.
It's dynamic. It rolls off the tongue, which is the important part as, a talent member.
And
Whether it's going to roll off the kills, though.
much like cactus and cacti, the Famai thrive in very dry environments where you don't have a lot of cash to water them with.
Exactly. When the MP9 just won't do, you want a little bit more range, or you don't want to use the MP9 because it's been nerfed, but you have too much pride to use the MP5, for instance. But here we go. Looks like we are back into game.
Back into the fun. Let's see if it's going to be any fun for Ghost, because this half has not been much. Been a long time since they've won a round. 6 in a row back the other way here for Nocturnal. And they're looking to make it a 7th. Once again, we see this forward setup coming through from the B players, trying to get some aggressive control outside of Khan, in by the sewers. Ooh. Shots fired. Showing a little bit of this presence. You might want to dismantle this stack since you've shown face, and you can see Nocturnal are once again gobbling up real estate on the other side of the map. Okay, you're going to go for this very aggressive B setup. We're just going to take A, and that's going to leave Mira with a lot to do and not a lot of firepower to do it with.
Yeah, this is looking uncomfortable. Tori peeks on out, but unfortunately Mira's already found the pick. Ellie's got another, and Lunari, by the time that she's able to get into the fight, there's nobody left to defend this with. And Ghost Gaming, they bought themselves a huge lifeline. Mads, the swivel around, finds the player that was looking to backstab her, but looks like they're trying to send another player to go and put the dagger into her spine. She pushes on forward. Smoke in the way is going to cause a lot of problems, but 30 seconds to work with. There's a flash available. Being ever so cautious here.
And you can exhale, Ghost fans. They will not be losing this map on a 3v1. Nicely done for Ghost, giving themselves something. Giving themselves something to build upon, and you can see what a change it has made in their fortunes. A lot more firepower can be brought to bear here. That'll allow them to play a little bit further forward, to change up the sight lines with what they want to work with. It looked good for Nocturnal just based on the positioning, but getting it done with the SMGs, getting it done with the FAMAS. Impressive showing for Ghost, and now we get to see if they can build. Op is out for Violet. Curious about what they're going to do with that. Right now it's just Gadfly making noise, dealing with, again, this aggressive thrust. This is a rinse repeat of what we saw in the setup in the last round.
Okay.
Nocturnal aren't taking that A space as much.
No, they're not. They're giving a lot of patience over towards A, kind of trusting in their ability to retake it. A lot of weight on one person's shoulders alone. Equal out, Sevalicious is going to find one, and actually the gamble stack is kind of paying off a little bit, this presence over towards B, but surely it's going to get recognized, noticed at some point that there seems to be a lot more ammunition here than they've faced anywhere topside. I think they've realized. I think there's been a little bit of a call considering Tori's not spotted anyone, and Lunari's gone back for the bomb to have a little bit of a move on over. Tori's just got to hold this space, make sure nobody comes creeping, and actually Gadfly goes on a little bit of a solo mission B, will not be able to regroup with their teammates, and now actually they decide that given where their teammate just died, they want to pivot that way instead.
Yeah, this is interesting, right? I mean, they had the idea of the B play, the bomb rotation was coming back towards it, but now despite giving up the pick, they're hoping that this will be the light site now. The reality is we can see that it's a 2-2. So it doesn't really matter what you pick. It matters how you execute. Couple Molotovs, smoke, and a flash to try and get this done, but they're just going to try and do it dry. And, well, Ellie is going to be just fine with that decision on their part. Easy as you like. Clean headshots down construction. And this gap shrinks to just 2. The hardest round can be the one that puts the game away, and Nocturnal are starting to realize that.
Yeah, and something that I really like in this map, and it's a small thing that Ghost aren't winning right now, but if they want to continue their winning ways to bring this to overtime, it's going to be important. And it's been something that has been kind of key as well, is that Ellie has, on this map at times, had a propensity to overextend a little bit. We haven't really been seeing that as much today, and that's been really good. It's not been giving them any easy opening picks, giving them away to Nocturnal. Mads, ooh, takes a dink through the wood. A little bit of an uncomfortable one, but lives to tell the tale, hobbling away from the encounter though. Now, the heavy B presence, surely they've clocked this so far. They've not really been limit testing over towards A much though.
No, yeah, they haven't gotten a lot of early round information. So despite the fact that Ghost have shown this stack repeatedly, there hasn't been a lot to actually give it away. There's going to be a jump. A little bit of an information spot, but once again, we don't see Nocturnal really reacting to this presence. They're just kind of sticking around, expecting some sort of aggressive move to come through from Ghost. And now that Tori's gotten this kill on Mira, the lone A player, they're going to have to dismantle the stack. So Tori's going to sell this very well. And as they start to move in, there's no one else here with Tori. It's all coming towards B. The Ghosts wisely have actually stuck around. They kind of saw this coming, it seems. And as the execution comes in, Emily actually starts to slide back through. Now Tori's been dealt with, so you don't have to worry about that. Phantom. And suddenly, all the defenders for Ghost are in the right place at the right time. 7licious, revealed, traded out instantly. But it's down to the 1v2. Ellie exterminated. Quick shot to the head, and Nocturnal. They did it the hard way. They let Ghost get back in just a little bit, but only to crush them all that much more. It is going to be a win on Overpass here, Affinity. It is going to be Nocturnal that strike first in this best of 3.
It is, and that is a lovely map to be picking up. Stealing this one away from your opponent, getting that early round on the board. And yeah, as you said, they let it go. They let it slip a little bit. The fact that Ghost are able to kind of those. In fact, they've outright banned it a couple of times this season within the confines of ESL Impact. So we don't know what to expect, but I'm expecting maybe a little bit misshapen, a little bit haphazard.
We are diving into the halls of train. The train of Overpass may be pulling into the station here at the rail yard. It's traveled a long way.
We could literally say this is it. Last stop. All change.
Last stop. Very potentially. If Ghost can get the win here, maybe they can carry us on one more. But it's Biggie Kiki trying to make that a reality. 2 quick kills out towards Ivy. Complete annihilation now. Fading away. That's an important find from Violet. Mad's now taking space in towards Z. That means the bomb's going to be planted, and suddenly this looks a whole lot better for Nocturnal.
It does. The turntables have tabled. Very much so. Mirror. Ooh. Sports bullets go by. Oh, snipes Gadfly out of existence, but Mads has an answer to that. Does exactly the same to her. Now Emily. So much. The weight of the world is unfortunately not even going to get a line of sight on that bomb. And there is a pistol round. Pretty nice turnaround there from Nocturnal, because it was not a good start. Biggie Kiki really had a nice little early round there.
The really concerning thing for Ghost is we know their playstyle. We know what they like to do. What they like to do is they like to play together. They like to have protocols. They like to play according to those protocols. You saw it a lot on Overpass. And if you haven't repped a map very much, even if maybe you're working it back in your pool in practice, there's always a difference between experience in practice and experience in officials. And it could be a little troubling for them. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on how much they've actually got to show us here on this map of train right now. Flashbang thrown and a full-on pistol swing. They do catch a couple of kills. Ellie, how is she making this work? Emily following up behind. They've got control of the bomb. This could be huge. A Galil retrieved. Devastating circumstances for Nocturnal. They've just let this one completely go by the wayside. Need to recover that C4, and they've got to deal with a crossfire to do so. There's presence in Pop Dog. It all falls to Mads. How has this gone so out of control here? Mads just trying to retrieve that parcel, and that's the first step of a very long puzzle solution here for Mads to try and figure out.
I think they know they've been swindled, though. They've had a look, and they've gone, where's it gone? I thought you were watching. No, you were meant to be watching it. Bomb's gone, so they've got some questions raised, but they do have insurance policies ready and available, and quick rotate to come on through if she does try and head elsewhere. Actually, they're forcing a little bit of a fight, but look in the wrong direction. The adjustment, she's not going to be immediately killed for it, but Sevenlicious rounds the corner with Mach speed and puts an end to all of that. There's even spraying going on. You can tell the confidence. That's a nice round to secure there.
Yeah, I mean, that's stunning. That's stunning. That was an eco. That was the most basic of ecos as well. You throw one flashbang and everybody swings. It is the slimmest of investments coming through, and that is really troubling for Nocturnal that they failed to it. Didn't even really get caught by the flash. Only had one player facing in the initial. We didn't quite see what was going on with Ellie with the P2K. No clue how that turned into two. But brilliant showing coming through for Ghost, and I mean, it's going to be a big lift for their sales because now they've got the money, they've got the economy. Provided they don't stumble here, they're actually going to get a chance to stabilize the CT side before anything really happens. This is wild. I just can't believe that was unarmored pistols. I'm still a little stupefied that they managed to pull that off, but some snappy shooting from Ellie lights the way forward. And now if you're Nocturnal, if you were maybe a little asleep at the wheel in the last round, I guarantee you're wide awake here.
Yeah, very much so. And they're going to try and look to get it done with pistols of their own. Unfortunately, they are not going to be awarded the same luxury of being able to swing Mira from the heavens, desperately trying to get some sort of a line of sight, but everyone's just tucking out away. Luckily, Sevenlicious, Emily, they've got it all handled. They say, no, take a break, take a little bit of a rest. Ellie's got one. Gadfly is going to find Mira before she can really get her name into the hat. And actually, she's making a little bit of a hash of this, but Nate goes over as an insurance plan. Emily's already got a lid on this one.
Couple kills there at least makes it look a lot better. Would have loved the bomb plant. They did have the space. The thing is that the Ghosts were affording them the respect over on towards B, that if there had been a flashbang, maybe a smoke, maybe just a little bit more of an explosive play, there was an opportunity for a bomb plant. But I think Nocturnal weren't necessarily expecting that. Couple flashbangs here. You would imagine the order of the day here is just going to be plant the bomb. They're going to head out Pop Dog to do it, though, which is the more exposed site. Not as workable with the Glocks. And look at the damage they've taken just getting out. Oh, my goodness. These players vaporized before our very eyes. Violet left standing with no chance, no hope. Somehow a kill out of the Glock. But that's going to be all she gets.
I'm seeing a repeating theme with these HEs just not really being able to find their mark in time. There's been two rounds in a row where we have seen the nade cam at the very end. And, yeah, it feels bad. You know, we talked a lot about the utility damage. This time, they're just swinging and getting the gunfights. You made a really good point earlier about the fact that Ghost, very structured, a lot of protocols that they fall back on quite heavily. Nocturnal, a team that they've got a lot of strategy, they've got a lot of work behind them, but it's a little bit more of an anarchy-driven, pug style. And what happens when you're on a game and on a map where you don't have as much protocols and it's just a matter of who can be a little bit more chaotic better? Turns out Piggy Kiki with yet another opener. Mira's going to be burning alive a little bit there, but falls off and is just going to retreat to the safety of sight and to her teammate. Smoke to go over the top just to make sure she's not going to get pushed. Very deep smoke, but actually they've decided to reroute, divert over towards that A side, and they do have a tendency to lean towards finishing on A.
Do you want to say as well, Piggy Kiki, someone who's had a really strong evening, even in that loss on Overpass, had some really pivotal rounds. I mean, there was the 3K against Pistols that saved them around, but there were more impactful moments as well. Piggy Kiki having a strong evening, so definitely somebody that they want to continue to keep activated if Ghost are going to make this work here on Train. And I mean, we're seeing the boldness, I would say, early on with those Ivy plays. That's good to see.
Much lower round now. Nocturnal taking their time, trying to bait somebody out, but actually Ghost Gaming, they are just happy to sit on the site where they know they are safe. They know that they've got all the time in the world. Mads with the first. Emily swings on out, and she has to duck back towards the smoke there. Hoping Sevenlicious can alleviate the pressure. They're not going to be able to stop the bomb going down, but they are going to whittle down the numbers for the post plan. Trying to find something. Mads trying to pluck somebody out of the sky. Unfortunately, will get caught out of position by Ellie. Lunari gets one, but it's a short-lived victory. And it's an expensive round, but it's a win nonetheless.
Good job making it expensive.
Exactly.
Where's that AK? There it is. Oh, good. 2 players surviving through. I mean, they've got the capital to spare, right? We've got 3 players above 10K before we get the investment into this round. Ghost are not sweating the small stuff at this point, provided they can keep those rounds clocking in their way.
Yeah, and this is the thing we said, it's good to keep it expensive, but the issue is you need to keep it expensive and then be winning the rounds, because if they're winning the rounds and saving over 2 weapons, the investment's going to be limited anyway. They've still got so much money, and you need to try to find a way to break that bank. And the bankroll is just too strong right now.
Damage.
The damage from the HE, the damage from the Molly. 7licious has got one fully blind, and they're still firing. Amads has finally regained vision and has wondered where the hell her whole entire team has gone. Luckily, she's going to be joining them in the spectator cam as they all watch Violet. And she's got a single pistol, a dream, and not much chance as 7licious rounds that corner.
Look, we were wondering, with them not having played it since April, how on point the protocols would be, how on point the utility would be. I'll tell you one thing. Ghosts have their protocols for a fast T-Con pop very well down. It's made the absolute bejesus out of everybody trying to make their way out of that choke point, and do not allow them to step foot on site. And that is really beautifully executed. 4-piece coming through from 7licious, also very nice. But let's be honest, the utility had already teed it up so very nicely as well that it was just a bowling ball into pins to knock them all down.
Yeah, stellar stuff. And you know what? We said we were maybe a little bit worried we weren't going to see maybe the best showing. We were worried maybe Nocturnal had a chance just to run away with this entire series. But we were unfamiliar with your game, Ghost Gaming. And, you know, you can't blame us. You've kept this one hidden. And I think for some teams, it makes sense, especially with Ghost Gaming, who came in as one of these prospect teams that with FlyQuest coming out of the offseason looking a little bit shakier, potentially there was a spot opening up at Stockholm. And if you want to make sure that teams don't have anything to work with, if you want to keep your cards close to your chest so that later in the tournament, you can then pull out a train that looks this good, yeah, that makes a little bit of sense, but they haven't really had that opportunity. They won't get much opportunity after this, so I'm glad to see us getting this now, because they have been so reluctant to touch train this entire tournament.
And sometimes maybe you just need that confidence builder. I mean, maybe,
exactly.
Again, the circumstances around this, we already knew the 2 teams that were going to land. The primary thing you're playing for in this season of Impact had already been decided. Maybe that gave them a little bit more freedom to leave something through in the veto, to take some more risks, allow it to be picked in. And then if you get some reps, if you get something in an official, if you get to build that confidence, you know, there's always the possibility that Ghosts do see what's happening here and choose to work it more thoroughly into the pool. All that being said, it is still the CT side of Train. We do expect it to be quite strong. There are plenty of more opportunities for Nocturnal to get enough impact to make a game of this. So don't want to get ahead of ourselves here, because Ghosts still have a lot more work to do. Piggy Kiki's doing a nice job of that, though, clearing out T-Con. Getting some early positioning here. Ellie's going to have the responsibility of dealing with this Ivy push.
Smoke that they've then got to push on through here, and Ellie's just going to give a little bit of presence. Make the known that if you want to push through this, you're going to have to expend something to get through. You got to pay the toll, and they have not. That HE as well has got somebody's name written on it. Ellie, another pick. Lunari, there's nothing you can do. You can hear it coming. There's nowhere to escape to. And Ellie's still here, holding the line. And I was singing the praises to you earlier about Nocturnal having a pretty nice Ivy pop dog crunch here. It has gone completely awry.
I'm looking at that initial spam thinking, oh, that's a little bit of a risk with the op on the other side of it. And then the second spam comes through and it's just instantly on the opper's head. So that's one way to mitigate risk. Tell you that much. Emily deals with the first player out of pop. And this is looking very comfortable for Ghost now. Ellie doing a great job just holding up as a turret here at Ivy, letting no one challenge it. That is a confidence builder for Ghost. And it's a bank builder again, because look, those bank accounts, they are swelling. They are so loaded right now. It's going to take ages for Nocturnal to break this economy down.
Yeah, and that's a worry if you've only been able to find one round. And a lot of the rounds, they've not been making too expensive. In fact, we've been pretty singing praises where they've been looking good. But that's getting to a point where we need to be seeing results, right? There's only so many times that we can say, you know, economic damage. That's not going to matter at this point. You need to be getting rounds on the board for that to start meaning something. Mira's teed up here as well for more. And they've not got a whole lot to work with, but maybe something fast, something poppy, you catch Mira off guard. It's still going to be difficult to retrieve that weapon with Elite there, but she's only one person, and she's only able to fire one bullet at a time.
Good timing on the Incendiary. Good timing on the AG. Big damage off the Util again. Consistent factor here. That drops the bomb. Mira's claimed, but now there's reinforcements available. 7licious falters. There's a chance for something to get interesting, but it's going to have to come from Lunari, and Elite does not flinch.
Are you a fan of Ancient, Darth Mike?
I do enjoy a bit of Ancient.
I think that if this keeps up the way that it's going, there's a very real chance that we might get to see a little bit of Ancient today. Because
Look,
we've said...
Counter-Strike. Whatever map you give me, I'm going to be happy for it. More maps of Impact? Hell yeah.
Drag this on for as long as possible. Hell, what if we make this a best of 5, you know? Tell the production team they're staying up a little bit late. No.
Let's not get crazy here. We don't want a riot in Sweden. Tori trying to start a riot here on the site. Mad's distracting as well, which means they're not going to be as focused on the fact that Tori is in their walls. Tori's gained all the space in the world. It's cost a pretty penny, but this is what they were trying to do with those fast T-Con plays. 7licious shot in the back of the head, doesn't know which way to look, and just like that, this is the game plan for Nocturnal. This is what they've been trying to bring to fruition, and this time, it actually works, with a heaping helping of Mad shooting 3 people.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, is that it's not anything that's done necessarily too different. Yeah, the pace is turned up a little bit, might be catching Ghost before they're able to properly adjust and get ready for this. But I think it is just a level of individuals, and sometimes that's what you need, right? Is that it's not sustainable. That's been my buzzword recently, is that you can't rely on an individual stepping up and getting 3 kills to win you entire games, or entire series, or entire tournaments, or whatever. But it is a nice catalyst for trying to turn the game around. The fact that Mira gets 2 there is criminal.
Yeah, the rare moment where you see a CT in a 1v4 aggressively hunting, because money matters a whole lot more to them than it does to you. That being said, I agree with you that having an individual pop-off, I think that the space, we never saw Tori actually bring the hammer down, but the space that Tori got deep in towards that site, completely unknown, didn't wind up materializing in kills because Mads killed everybody faster. But if they can consistently get that, you can see the vision for what they're trying to do with these T-Con pops. And that is a good formula for causing chaos on the site, making life rather difficult for Ghost. Now, that being said, we've also seen when it doesn't work and they eat 3 nades before they're ever anywhere towards the site.
Yes. Does put a little bit of a dampener on the mood. But successfully dodging the nades. Talking to nades, a bunch of them come on out here. Tori waiting, peeks on out, completely catches 7licious unaware. She is allowed to get that utility thrown off, but it's not really going to be able to be battled off the back of. Tori's got 1, that site's going to fall. They need to be careful. Ellie not accounted for, spins around. Maybe a bit of a mistake not to be waiting for the Ivy player in Ivy.
I mean, look, they've got infinite money, but
true,
even that has limits because they're just throwing these lives away. Elite gonna try and make it costly here. 1v3. Still has that AWP. She's been a lot deadlier with it here on Train. Oh, gonna find her next target. Swings into the next. Has the right idea on the pre-fire, the pre-aim, but finally just a little bit quicker. Lovely attempt there from Emily. Going to cost quite a bit in casualties over from that Nocturnal side. But that being said, Ghost, you can maybe see the inexperience on the map because the 2 players towards Ivy are calling for a flash or a smoke. I'm not sure exactly what was getting thrown. But 7licious, in turning to do that, left herself so exposed towards T-Con, towards Pop Dog as well. There was no one with responsibility towards those positions. And that's just, it's a fortunate bit of timing for sure for Nocturnal, but a big gap left here by Ghost, and suddenly we've got 3 rounds on the board. If we can get a 4th, if we can get a 5th, Nocturnal not sitting so rough anymore.
Turning around, 7licious looking to get ahead. Make sure no one peeks on out. Must be wary of Pop Dog. Having a bit of a nosy. There is going to be a fight coming her way. Tori, it's going to have to be a quick adjustment. She's got so many angles to clear there. Seven has got one, and Lunari's not willing to swing off the back of this just yet. Face first into the gun barrel, Lunari gets one. Needs Violet to help her battle her way out of this angle, but Violet's being chipped away at. Helder Bay knows the AWP's there. She's just going to have to fall back. She says, I'm sorry, mate, you're on your own.
Flashbang blooming. Gadfly maybe just causing mostly a distraction while her teammates try and maneuver in towards position, but so far it hasn't caused anyone to flinch. Just one player hunting for her alley. Meanwhile, there's still two crosshairs turned this direction. And the big one on the AWP is going to cause a lot of problems. Smoke certainly tips them off. The players are headed this way, and Emily is well ready for it. Didn't quite find the shot on the second. But time's starting to become an issue. 25 seconds to try and get this bomb down. Nari needs to be a bit of a hero. Her teammates isolated. Emily caught by that flash, caught by that bullet. Might just have given a window. But it's a window that fast closes. Lunari gone. Time's an issue. Gadfly had to swing and die. And that will be an 8th round for Ghost.
Yep, takes them a little bit of time to get there, but they are denying Nocturnal really getting their claws into this. We talked there for a second about 7-5 as a half. Suddenly, that is out the window. 8-4. Yeah, you're going on to CT side, but a pistol round going awry is all it takes for that really to not matter a whole lot. But it's moments where it's the rounds that Nocturnal are trying to take it a little bit slower. It's being read fairly nicely by Ghost here. But it's the rounds where they're a little bit pacier that they've been catching a little bit off guard. Mira having a look.
Oh,
lovely find. They're not even going to be given the opportunity to be passive in this round.
Luxury of the double up here, getting a little friskier with it. Love to see that when you've had such a good half, when you have the money to play around with it. Ah, it's very nicely done. And now on the back foot already. Nocturnal getting hunted down. Mads caught. A bit overexposed there. Sevenlicious flashbang comes back in. It's a bit disjointed though. Lunari, well done to recover it. Still an advantage for Ghost. But the situation's a bit less dire than it was a moment ago. If that flashbang swing execution had come in, this round would be over. As it is, Mira sticking around, holding the ground, and we're just wondering, when's the next peak gonna come through?
I'll break down the mirror more in a second, because I've got so many questions, and I mean, Ghost Gaming's giving me answers here. Lunari running onto site.
When do they suspect? They haven't checked it yet. Oh boy. No one thinks that she's just left, stuck around, and now it's done. Over 9-3. We are going to the break.
You're falling. Do you recognize that feeling? The demons under your ceiling, when everything hurts and nothing is healing. Yeah, I don't even wanna be awake, cause every second that I live is like a wasting. Can you help me start a replace all the memories that stand in my ways? You know what I really hate the most is that happens to me is like a ghost. It's so far away. I only wanna be okay. Tell me, why should I stay? But I just can't seem to set my mind at ease. I can find an escape. There are many doors I would take, but I can't make one of them become a way. So I'm drowning myself in the media, cause I don't wanna face what I'm feeling, yeah. I am scared of fighting this alone. I've tried to turn on the light, but my demons know how to hide. Lately there's just no end in sight. Tell me, why should I stay away? If only dreaming can erase the pain. Tell me, why should I waste another minute?
Welcome back in for a little bit of train, and it doesn't feel like we're going to have a lot of time to talk about this as we are off to the races already. Smoke deployed initially, but is this a feint? Is this a fake? We got players all over the map and starting to encircle Ivy. Sevenlicious making some noise while her teammates think about probing the B site.
Ooh, Mira's got a little bit of trouble on her hands. They're going to call over reinforcements pretty early. Mad's trying to get onto site to help one out here, dancing with it. The jump on up, it's going to get spotted. No one can really connect their shots. It's really messy. Everyone decides just to live and let live to go reload, except Tori. Tori finds a pick. Gadfly returns the fire in an eye for an eye. Piggy Kiki finding 2 of those, though. Tori spamming away. He's going to keep this competitive. 3 versus 2. That bomb is still down, though, and Tori's holding the line. Sevenlicious frantically hoping they don't have a kit, but she's not going to be allowed anywhere near that diffuser, and Lunari's going to get the finishing blow as well.
Nice round snatch back away. I mean, Ghost, I like the idea. They found a lot of success. They found a lot of penetration in towards the site, but just couldn't quite get the kills to match it. Sometimes pistol rounds be like that. Everyone feels like they're firing blanks, and eventually the kills do come through. Still with the bomb plant, with one player surviving. You've got a chance here on this force buy to really make an impact. Let's see if they could do it. There's an XM out for Matt.
It's the best gun in the games. I was going to say, I was waiting for it. The best gun in the game. And she's going hunting for it. This is an awkward fight to take. Okay, well...
Yep,
if that's not a metaphor for life, then I don't know what is.
Sure. Yeah, it's a metaphor for maybe taking disadvantageous angles with the shotgun. Tell you that much. That's a nice response, though, from Tori. Still, big damage has been done. We have both Tori and Sevenlicious rather wounded. Look at this. They're going to find the space down sidewalk. No smoke to cover it, but a headshot will do the trick. Bomb can now be planted. Now they've got pretty good situation as well. Emily's going to want to get closer to this.
The issue is
not going to have the weaponry for the range. This is going to be a problem, though. They don't really have the fight for the post plant, but Piggy Kiki finding that kills. That's a huge pressure reliever.
Yep, and there's Lunari picked a weapon immediately, putting it to good use, and he talks about not having the range. They've managed to bring the fight close here, close quarters. Emily tapping away with the Tech 9. She's got to deal with Gadfly before they can even look at the diffuser. There's the first, but in the meantime, all of the distraction that they could ever need, and then some. And the kill comes through. Lunari from post round again.
Back-to-back rounds where the bomb gets diffused right under Ghost's nose. Those are going to sting, but again, one player surviving. Bomb plant down. Lots of success. You know what that means. It means they're going to reinvest.
Exactly. And it's a difficult one, trying to take that space beyond the site, because they really needed to take a little bit more space to make those weapons work, because long range just wasn't really the fight for them. Alas, not meant to be, wasn't quite in a situation they could make that happen. Now Mira trying to make stuff happen down towards Pot Dog. Gadfly, long range has got a lot of distractions here. Sevenlicious, they run right past each other. Sevenlicious is waiting for it, though. She's not too apprehensive about all of this. Biggie Kiki goes for a little bit more, but look, it's a massacre. The kill feed lights up yellow, and just Lunari now. The Undertaker now being taken down under. Piggy Kiki is the only one that was ever going to find that kill, and a 10th round double digits secured for Ghost Gaming.
And now you see why Ghost kept reinvesting, right? They knew that these CT setups were basically holding on by a finger. And this time they stamp on that finger and Nocturnal go tumbling down the cliff. Now your money is at the bottom of said cliff, and it's going to take a long time to claw back out of that hole. Deagles and Scouts, it is train. You've got Deagles, you've got Scouts. Don't say they can't do it, because these headshot guns can be absolutely dangerous at the long-range angles, but they're going to need a whole heaping dose of skill and maybe a pinch of luck to go along with it if they're going to pull off this round.
Yeah, they are going to need something smiling down upon them. Mira again to try and take this fight. Flash around the corner. She's not really being tested here just yet. This is a pattern that I think she's going to find the more they play this map, is that nobody really eager to go and take that Pop Dog fight early. Just let them have the space. It's just too risky, too many angles, and they're just going to sit on their hands for now. Why wouldn't you? Oh, Violet. There's one of the Scouts taken down. And Sevenlicious actually not even flinching at the danger. Gadfly burning alive has to reposition. Just going to fall back for now, leaving Comrade on site, a little bit weaker, but actually the move over towards A, rightly timed as well. Trying to get ahead of all of the smokes Mads firing off, was completely blind for a second, but now Molotov to pressure her in towards the fight out in the open. Picky Kiki will find Ellie and Mira, kill their own opponents, they find their marks, and now it's just Tori. One player left alive, and with the scout, this is not exactly the most fluid weapon to try and make this work. It's very clunky, and she's just going to be looking for somewhere to hope that she can weather the storm.
There's nothing worse than being in this situation in an already busted by round where you know you're saving very little, but you still have to save. There's no way you can justify anything else. Just about hide-and-seek championship at this point. And, oh, they're coming seeking. I'll tell you that much. Might get an upgrade. Trigger discipline. Let's go. There's a rifle that can be found. Now, Galil upgrade. That's going to feel a whole lot better to save.
Majorly so, though. But it's those situations where you see the trigger discipline and you're like, oh, it's with the Desert Eagle. If you miss your first shot, this could be one of those ends up on Reddit kind of moments. And she misses the first shot, but she still manages to find both of the kills. Huge kudos there. And as we said, it's going to be an upgrade. Violet, I'm hoping, does have a gun. I think she's left the gun behind. She's had to go back and get one. It's going to be a couple of seconds, and on the CT side, those are valuable seconds, especially when they look like they're gearing up to maybe head over towards B, but luckily it's not going to be too damning in the overall scheme of things. Tori's got the opening pick, so actually has got even more time to relax.
Just a USP holding B, though. This is the cost of it. They don't really have the information. Tori's going, finding, getting the gun upgrade, dropping her own back, so that somebody else can swing by and grab it. But for the players actually on the site, they just don't really have the firepower to do anything about this. Emily collects. Gadfly not lasting much longer. Surviving about as long as Gadfly. Well, this bomb will be planted. You've got to make a decision here, Tori. Is it worth risking the AK? Well, it is, because there's just not that many more rounds to play. Going to try the hero maneuver. Mads coming over to support, and so far it's been Tori just ripping heads one after another. It all falls to Emily. Catches the player in the open, but the shot goes wide. Second attempt a little better. And Mads, the walking wounded here. The pistol will be enough to finish this off. Just going to try and stick it and hope that this doesn't get tested. Mads out. Mads done. Map point on. And I'm thinking Ghost Gaming might be a train team here, Affinity.
I think they might be. I think this is something that we'll definitely have to look forward to again in the future. And actually, we said that they banned it twice, right? So that's twice out of the 7 times now that they've had vetoes. The rest of the time, it's kind of just being banned out against them. So maybe they have kind of been just waiting for the right team to play it against. And my oh my, have they found it? And I want to see more. The fact that this is only potentially going to be 18 rounds long, it leaves you yearning, hunkering for more.
See if Nocturnal have that hunger for a little bit more. They finally got the weaponry here, at least. Smoke, timely. Gonna keep Ghost from pouncing on that Pop Dog player. Emily's been tagged up a little bit, but nothing catastrophic just yet. And you've got this aggressive positioning from Gadfly. He wants the fight. Zcon, Incendiary's in. Well-timed. Mads able to hold on as well, which means the Gadfly hasn't been revealed just yet. Once again, Mads just doing huge damage here. And these two players, God, they have no idea. They have no idea. How are they going to expect this? Well, they're just going to leave. They're going to leave.
Oh, they're going to line up as well.
One more bullet. One more bullet will finish it. 1 HP. Ellie is running. Spooky season right now, and Ellie feeling like the last one alive in a slasher film. Just trying to find safe haven.
They didn't even push that far, because if they'd gone chasing for that, they would have spotted that the bomb was down. And there's only 25 seconds, so something has to be done. I'm assuming they're assuming that she's just going to save it. I'm not sure how I feel about going too much further here.
Yeah, the AWP is definitely going to be a lot more valuable than your loss bonus.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, you can see it happening in slow motion. She peeks on out.
But
and
why?
there it is. She goes down. I don't know.
Literally just a time on the clock. There was not enough time to run to that bomb train. So that was truly just hunting that one last kill.
Personal.
I think just wanting to die and get the money in sync, but you had enough that I think... whatever. They're still up 12-6. We won't nitpick it for now. Probably not the right calculus in that particular situation, but it will keep the money consistent across the players, and maybe that's their priority here.
Potentially. But even then, forcing into this, Mira's left with no money in the next round, so it's not even going to be particularly even. Gadfly's lined up too. Mira has managed to overrun for one, but there's not really going to be much more to say on the matter. It's going to be one measly pick, and you'll enjoy that, and you'll take what you're given. And that gap is still 5 rounds large, but it's narrowing by the second.
It is indeed. And this is always going to be the reality of train, right? You let that economy stabilize. You let these players get the guns up. They can get to punishing util themselves. Really do get to see what Nocturnal can do. This one's far from over. And as you highlighted before, with Mira investing in the last one, just going to be a Tech 9 here.
Okay. But like, I think I saw a couple of missed bits of utility here and there, but it's a very early round and they weren't anywhere too impactful. And you're talking about an HE on the other side of the map, but not to dwell on the finer details here because it's not really impacted too much early round. A little bit of chip damage onto Mads is all that they have to speak of. Gadfly's going hunting. Thinks she's maybe cleared them out, but Sevenlicious is still lingering.
Yeah, this shot's went right above her head. Haircut for Sevenlicious, but that could be a nasty surprise for Gadfly here in just a moment. There's going to be the kill, the backstab as well. Wandered right in front of her. And now they're getting some penetration here on the B site. The bomb is down. And Tori's still here holding court, but Ellie answers that problem quickly. It all falls to Lunari. Last one surviving. Cannot hold on much longer. 13-7. We are going the distance here. We've got a 3-map series as a Ghost Gaming team that hasn't played the map since April triumphs on train.
Yep, I am liking what I'm seeing. An official win on the board. And it feels good because it drags it to a third as well. And we weren't necessarily sure that we were going to get to see that realistically, but we are sorely proven wrong, and it's a good confidence builder, right? They've Fizz, and then they banned it versus Little Box and Waves in week 1 and 2. Ever since, they've kind of been leaning into it a little bit. In fact, they actually picked it versus Shimmer. On the flip side, Ghost Gaming, they played it twice, and they have been so non-committal to it. They have not picked it, they have not banned it, it's not been a decider, it's just been picked into them realistically. They've let it wash over them. So where this is going to go, it's difficult to say on paper. There's not really too much we can extrapolate, but I mean, I guess we'll find out. And if somebody can set the pace pretty early, we talked about the momentum, so it starts as even footing. Somebody's got to take an advantage early on, though.
Well, let this map wash over you because it's the last map of NA Impact for the foreseeable future.
Ooh, scary words.
It's important to enjoy the moment. We'll think about the future some other time. We'll just enjoy where we're at right now. Lots of utility for Ghosts as they are want to do. So we're going to try and take contact here on ramp. Kill comes in. It's actually Lunari. Ellie, though, swinging out of the cave, finding Impact here. Looking for headshots. Bomb looking to get planted here. Will, in fact, be so, but Ellie going hunting straight into the jaws of Tori's crosshair means that now she's left her teammates a player down. Well, for a moment. Assassination from Violet. It all falls to Emily here in the clutch. One player very wounded. Body shots would be enough against Tori. And a headshot required now. Low on the ammo. Dancing around the corner to get a reload off. Well done. Buying time as well. The savvy vet of Emily is just drawing this one out. Dancing around. Buying that clock. But not quite enough. The kit will just barely get this one defused and get this one done for Nocturnal.
Yeah, it was something that I mentioned sort of as an offhand throwaway comment over on Overpass, is that sometimes Ellie has a propensity to overextend a little bit. And it's very early days, it's just the pistol round, but it is kind of the tonal set that we look for in the pistol round is that, yes, it's a pistol, yes, it kind of sets up where the money's going to be. It kind of sets up our expectations for how things are going to start panning out. The fact that we've already seen Ellie overextending a little bit worries me. However, there's still time. They've got a buy to come on into this. Ellie was drawing away players from that site to see, even if she is falling back herself, she's drawing her opponents away from where they need to be, is the caveat there. But now we go into a second round, and actually the buy is looking not too dissimilar across the board here. Actually, a lot of utility invested into for Nocturnal here.
Tori taking their contact. Flashbang ducked her back in towards the smoke and trying to get back out of it. Proves to be a bit of a mistake. Once again, a bomb plant here for Ghost. They've been good at these force buy rounds. Saw it on train. Now we're seeing it to great effect. Sevenlicious picks a perfect time to strike. Catches Lunari. So that rotation off, and now you can see the response. Gadfly has to go back to check to see if Sevenlicious is carrying that flank through. Time's becoming an issue. Violet. Well handled here. Still showing patience despite the clock being a little bit of their enemy. There's kits available, but they need to get stuck onto it. And the swing on out, the MAC-10 makes good.
I love them sitting out the hail of bullets because they know that the moment they end, they're going to fall back, they're going to need to reload, and that's when they swing. Not when they hear the defuse tap. They're already readying the swing by that point. It's the moment that the rapid gunfire stops that then they pounce. Backs are turned as they're just trying to find some sort of cover. Lovely little play there. Evens up the scoreboard, and Nocturnal are going to be feeling the economic burn for rounds to come here.
Gadfly. Get stuck him in here with a 5-7. These can be dangerous, but that's well responded by Sevenlicious. Good transfer. Keeps this one from getting interesting. It's all just Tori on the other side of the map. This bomb's going to be planted. This round is going to be going the way of Ghost Gaming.
Yeah, have to be monumental from Tori. It's going to spot one player jumping. Might not even get the pick, though. It's a little bit messy. Mira's going to find it. Actually is going to upgrade her sidearm. Always worth having, especially on that MAC-10, having a little bit more range. Because, of course, when CS2 came out, the MAC-10 was essentially a running AWP. It could laser beam from the other side of the map, but less so now. But the spray transfer from Sevenlicious, got to highlight it. You mentioned it there, was absolutely immaculate. They put down any attempt to farm cash. They put down any attempt to steal away weapons and try save them. And it means that Nocturnal, again, are just on pistols for another round. The double eco is a brutal way to kick off this final map. Mira looking to farm a little bit of cash of her own. Might be biting off more than she can chew because there's a lot of people waiting for her. Spraying away, she gets the first and the second. Needs to switch to the Desert Eagle. Tap it away, gets one. But heads keep appearing. Luckily, she's got Emily and Ellie. One with the nade, one with the A4 to help deal with this. Gadfly, caught looking down, trying to find a weapon. Will, in fact, succeed in doing so, but forced forward by the Molotov and taken down by Emily as such. Third round on the board for Ghost Gaming. Now is when they're going to get tested for the first real time, then.
Keeping that one clean, though. Now they got some cash to spare. Here comes that AWP. Violet with that AWP. Talked a lot about Violet on Overpass. Felt like the opportunities were more limited on Train. So what you can do with it here. Missed smoke. That's not going to be great. I assume that was meant for the elbow. Now they don't have that cover, so going to be some more eyes focused on in here and an extra smoke burned initially. Not ideal. Early exchange here by the shelf, and it's working very well for Ghost. Mira gets her head around in time. Push out from Lunari at least stems the bleeding for a moment. But now pick your poison, Ghost. You've got a lot of avenues to get on through. That's the one that might be punished. They're actually headed in towards the most reinforced point on this map at this point. You've still got Lunari here in defense. You've got the AWP of Violet that can rotate in. So Ghost Gaming have stuck themselves into a little bit of a problem spot here. See if they can work their way out. They're trying to do just that, backing away.
Yeah, I mean, They can try head in towards Donut, but they were already being pressured from mid, so mid's still kind of a question mark for them. But you're right, the rotate comes on over pretty quickly. 50 seconds on the clock. They still have time to switch up their tune a little bit. They've got 2 HEs available, but unfortunately, Lunari caught looking anywhere but where they're heading. Violet does have the trade. Gonna get tanked down by that HE, though.
The wide swing could have caught her off guard, but Violet quick to adjust. Nicely done. And that is a much needed round for Nocturnal, but I don't think they're out of the woods just yet. Yes, they saved the AWP, but that's it. And we know the pain train is coming right back towards them from Ghost. Full reinvestment. They will be looking to bring the hurt, and that was far too close for comfort. So Nocturnal need to be able to build on this round now.
Needed smoke to try stop them in top. Mid is not going to do anything to hold the immediate and aggressive site, well, not site takes, mid take here. Actually going to have a little bit of a look outside of Cheetah. There's a lot of information to work with here, and it's just Violet on this open, a very passive angle to try and hold down the line with this. Going to get smoked off, Molotovs everywhere. It is a fake. That bomb is still hanging around towards B, but Gadfly is not being used at all.
I mean, now they're going to start to activate. Now that's a huge kill for Ellie's, taking out the B defender. Now they can waltz on in. It's a fake that almost worked too well. They gained so much purchase on towards A. It's quite fortunate, I think, for Ghost that Ellie found the kills that she did out towards Elbow. I mean, very well done, for sure. Now a little bit of an overextension from Sevenlicious. And this is the invitation back in, because without that kill, you might have seen a world where Nocturnal just choose to cut their losses. Instead, they got every reason to give this a look. Great flashbang, but not able to catch the kill there for Piggy Kiki. That could have been the death blow. As it is, time is becoming a problem, and Nocturnal are, in fact, going to bail on out of there. Nicely done. Huge round for Ellie. Immense round for Ellie. A little bit confusing, I think, for Nocturnal. They didn't quite have a good awareness of where players actually were on the map. They're maybe getting baited out a little bit heavy by these fakes, and we're seeing the effect of that. We're seeing Ghost exploit it.
Yeah, and it's a good sign being able to see these weaknesses and exploit them. That's kind of the key component. And if you go in with a really rigid game plan, especially against a team that's very fluid and dynamic like Nocturnal, it can really backfire. There's a lot of stuff that you highlighted in the midst of that round. The fake that almost works a little bit too well. But it's nice ideas, though, when they're able to sort of rein themselves back, and that's a really good sort of mark of a strong team there, is that when they know when to hold them, know when to fold them, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you could also see just how little Nocturnal had to work with in terms of the util in that last round. They've actually got more nades this time around. So there's still some limitations for sure, but there's a little bit more to work with in terms of the utility. That smoke just to keep the idea of a player back donut alive. Maybe a bit rich for my blood, but Lunari catches a kill elsewhere. Now Matt swings out. 2 players stacked up, and Emily knocks them down. Nice bit of rifle work. The A site is open, and Mira's so far forward, they just have no idea. Oh, Mira's hoping for 2. Gonna get him as well. Oh my goodness. Mira stringing them along. And skewering them.
How much trigger discipline have we seen today? Because it has been, usually in a game, there's a little bit, right? There's a couple of times. This has felt almost excessive with how many moments that, you know, there have been corners that haven't been checked and whole chunks of map not being checked, that you're just watching players track these players and wondering, you know, how many can I get before realistically I'm taken down? And there's a couple more angles I'd like to see glanced over a bit more cautiously going forward.
Yeah. I mean, it is, again, maybe a hallmark of the way Nocturnal play. They play a little bit like their hair's on fire at times. It can lead them into some very nice spots. It can also lead them to overlook some very nice spots. And we've seen that cost them.
Number 5, it is going to be a single AK, a kit and a smoke that they've got to try work wonders with. This AK is going to have to work miracles and revolutionize the game here. A couple of Desert Eagles and a P250. No one's going to go without some semblance of an upgrade. Looks like mid-control. Smoke's going to go over, but actually they're not too eager to really take a look at it. It's over towards A. They really have intent here. And there is going to be Tori holding the line, but they know that the buy is likely not very good. So whilst they're being cautious, they're being quietly optimistic about this.
That's a nice shot from Tori. Might just create a little bit of space to do something with this round. The bomb is going to be planted. You still have 7licious making noise on the other side of the map, but they can just kind of ignore her. Need to get a move on before 7licious can get involved in the action. And trying to do so, Piggy Kiki's going to be able to punish Tori. So now you're running out of the numbers here. But Lunari still going to make her presence felt, trying to line up another Deeg shot. It's Mads instead, and this one's getting very messy indeed. Big kill for Emily. Leaves Mads stuck out in the open. No health, no armor, no kit certainly, and nothing to do. Try and sow a little bit more chaos.
It's a difficult one there for Mads at the end because there's not even any way she can realistically escape. There's a player donut. There's a player that can peek you with an AWP from the halls. So even trying to back away, you're in the line of sight of somebody at every given point there. So you just got to try stand and fight. Not a whole lot to save, knowing that they'll come into this round with a buy, missing a little bit of utility on Violet. But I mean, when she's entrying for a lot of the time as an AWP, she's not really static. On this map, maybe a little bit more so than Overpass, where she'll go for those fights, and, you know, Train, where she'll also go for some of these swings. Doesn't need it as much. Emily, what a shot, though. Lunari was just trying to get a little bit of information. My kingdom for a jump peak, and she is going to be denied sorely.
Comes at a heavy cost. Comes at a heavy cost. And now, we can see the cost it's exacting on Nocturnal. They need to make a move, and they know it. So it's going to be a double play in towards Cheetah. Or Jaguar, if we're being accurate. Gadfly going to be the tip of this spear. Could catch timing. Supply lines are a little bit strung out. Oh, there's the spot, though. Gadfly gets the one, but at the cost of some health. A swing back in. Ellie's able to trade it. And now, your last defender in Mads is stuck here in towards Cave. They've got a good idea where she might be. Nades raining down. Mads swings and makes good on it. All alone. 1v3. Pelted through the panel. And that is another round notched on the belt of Ghost Gaming.
I pose you a question here. Rounds like that with Mads is, do you think that every situation is winnable in some capacity? That there are situations where it lines up? Or do you think that there are some positions that you end up in that no matter what you do and what your opponents do, it's just not going to happen?
Virtually any 1vx situation, to win it, requires your opponents to make mistakes. Now, that being said, people make mistakes at every level of play constantly. But every, 1v3, 1v4 clip, 1v5 certainly requires that the other team make a mistake. If you play a 3v1 perfectly, you'll never lose it. But people don't. We're all human. That's what makes this whole thing interesting to watch. We're not bots lining up the perfect angle. So yeah, I'd say certainly every situation is winnable. And certainly in that one as well, probably not very savable. So why not risk it?
Why not risk it? And risk it they are. The swing on out there. Lunari is going to find one and a weapon here to work with. And that's all a little bit of a ruse, a diversion for what's really going on. That push over towards A.
Into that space. Smoke sailing in. Ghost being diligent, taking their time with this one. And that has allowed Tori to get out by the boxes. Needs to land some Deagle headshots, though. Not going to be able to do so. It's Mads instead, though traded out instantly. This one might be too much to ask. Ticking the Molotov. That gives the information away. And Emily is able to make sure that round doesn't get away from them.
6-round lead, and there's still time for it to go further. And this is on their T side as well. There's a lot of debate about where Ancient sits on the CTT side scale. But this is, regardless of how you slice it, looking very, very good. They've got money for days. There is nothing here realistically that Nocturnal can do that there will not be buys for both of these remaining rounds. So this isn't even about economic damage. This does just have to be outright wins.
Yeah, at this point, one-sidedness doesn't really come into the conversation. It's just too far gone, right? And it's the manner that we're seeing some of these rounds go in. You're seeing the desperation slip in, I think, for Nocturnal with some of these plays, with some of these hero moments they're trying to have. Just haven't been able to stabilize and really starting to feel the pressure here. A lot of typing in this tech pause. Hopefully it'll have a quick resolution.
There you go. They're a very chatty bunch, the North America lot sometimes. So
Yeah.
who knows what they could be saying?
We're known for that culturally. You know, you set a Nordic person loose in America for the first time, and it's like, why are all these people talking to me? What's happening?
Some of the conversations I have read in the North America chats have been enlightening, colourful, wild, honestly something beautiful at times, you know, a piece of modern art, one would say.
There's poetry in the madness. Flashbang into the peak. Mira stares straight into the light like a moth to the flame. And Violet will be all too happy to burn. 4 would be so much better than 2, I'll tell you that much. 3 would be better than 2. Anything at this point. Nocturnal just think give us anything. A round. Please.
They are in dire need here. You know, 4-8 still not looking great, but they've got the opening pick here. This is a way in. This is a way to sort of work on forwards. Choke point, 7licious, taken down. Lunari's just holding the line. The rest of her team. Oh, Ellie's going to activate. It's not in time to save her teammate, but it is in time to sweep this site completely clean. And now 2 versus 2. Bombs gone down and players scrambling to get across it. Utility is going to go deep, and that's going to be Piggy Kiki taken down. It's going to be an idea that one player's here, but unfortunately, absolutely no information on where the second is. Swings on out. That's a lovely find. Orbs online, and Emily doesn't miss shots like that. And that is going to be a 9th round on the board, and you couldn't have asked for a more spectacular display.
No sympathy.
None.
No sympathy. No gimmies. Nothing to be had here for Nocturnal. Emily just says, yeah, get good. Locks it down. I mean, that's a nice bit of play coming through from Emily. Just showing again, Nocturnal feels like every time they manage to get themselves an advantage, it just gets snatched back. 1 round to end this half. 1 round to try and show us something. They're going to go aggressive for it. I like that they haven't stopped trying with these aggressive takes. But they really need something to work out for them. And right now, Mats is getting a ton of information that there's no one out towards B. Problem is, can anyone rotate to support A in time for it to matter? Violet is on an island, and the cavalry is, as of yet, quite far away.
All the information you could want and nothing they could do on it. Yeah, ooh, Violet's not even gonna really do anything. Walks out, there's no flash. We talked about this.
That was bold. That was ambitious, to say the least, but they need a hero play, and now a line up. It's a TK coming through. A little bit of an awkward exchange there, but still a 3-on-3 is not the worst effect. Top shot doesn't land. Tree player cleared out. Piggy Kiki was focused on Temple. Time's going to be the issue. There's the first one claimed, but they're just getting on the defuse. And they have time. They have time. They have the kit. They have a 3rd round. There's something for Nocturnal to take into the break.
That's how we like it. That's how this goes. Come on now, baby, let me ease your soul. That's how we live life. Live it up to the top. 'Cause once we start, you know we're never gonna stop. We own it. We're winning every time. We own it. Pushing every day and night. We own it. We don't do compromise. Yeah, yeah. We touch down every time. We touch down every time. This is our time, hit it up with the people. This is our turn to see. Gonna put your jack, anybody in the league.
One more time, we're back in action here with NA Impact. Nocturnal, Ghost, and it's quite a mountain that Nocturnal have to climb if they want to make a game of this one. It's all to play for here on Ancient, and it's Ghost with a massive 6-round lead.
So much of a chasm to try and fill on in here, Piggy Kiki. A little bit of information spotted, but they've kind of put all of their eggs in one cave-shaped basket here. Sevenlicious trying to take a little bit of space outside, but they're being held, penned in here by Nocturnal Violet. Desperately trying to find the skill. Sevenlicious actually turns around just in time to stare her attacker in the face as she goes down. And now 2 versus 1 Mirror. We sung our praises. Kadia, player to watch, now has to stand up when it matters the most. But Tori has got a handle on the whole situation. A 4th round and an absolute necessity, dare I say.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I think that's fair. I think it's fair indeed. I'll look to build upon it. This time, Ghost will not have the same opportunities to get the force buys off. I have enjoyed those, but a little trickier to do on the defense.
True.
They content themselves with a bit of
actually
util.
wise. Flash and an HE, very little to go on here. The HE, I'm assuming, to part the smoke for Sevenlicious to go for a nice little swing. Just waiting for the right second. The longer they wait, I mean, honestly, at this point, just look to go, oh no, they're full sending it over. Gadfly's going to feel the burn on that one. Emily swinging on off. Gadfly's going to get 1. There is going to be a trade, however. They want to push a little bit further. HE's going to do a load of splash damage. Tori still hanging around. When is she going to realize that 1 head too many to try and fight? Actually, doesn't need to make that decision because Ghost Gaming, they've backed off already.
Trying to see what they can do about wrapping these players in towards the site. Might just play for the exits. Try and keep them towards the bomb. Though as I say that, they dismantle the window aspect of that contained play. Well, there's a spot. They've already seen the 1. Not a lot to be had by hunting.
No, not too much. Doing as much damage as they could in case there's kits, in case there's any utility left, perhaps. But very risky. Sevenlicious long range is not going to find anything. They're going to deny the cash on that one. 4th round pretty squarely in their court there. Ellie and Mira will survive, but there's not really much to speak of on that front. Weapons going to be bought on up here. First real test of the metal that Nocturnal are going to have in this half. We'll see how they handle it, actually. Not enough money for the Emily AWP just yet, and might have to be an upgrade that comes off the back of a couple of hard-fought victories. Early utility goes out. Looks like they want to take that early control, suffocating map control on, realistically, both sides of the map, completely forsaking A here, actually. A little bit of a Molotov is going to cause them to fall back into Donut.
They're clearing this out. But likewise, Nocturnal are hearing it. Thinking about re-aggressing. Go back to check the flank, which is interesting. There's 2 players back there, but I guess nobody is theoretically watching elbow. So there's a gap that's been left, but it's not a gap that Ghost will press right now. They're making some inquiries A. The bomb is still very far back. And the shadow's been spotted. That gives it away. Mira, though, can't land the headshot. Better success by Sevenlicious, though the trade is there. They wanted to activate. Is that must have been a misthrown Molotov. They've mollied themselves into the door. That's very unfortunate. Now they're caught in a choke point. Now they're caught in a crossfire. And this one seems like it's all come apart at the seams here for Nocturnal. See if they can stitch it back together. Mats is certainly trying to. What a shot to the back of the head from Violet. That'll help a lot.
Opens up a lot of opportunities. Not spotted anything mid, and I think they both decide remaining CTs to head over towards B. Actually, Mira's not done having a little bit of a look, worried over towards A, and actually has maybe falsely made the call for Emily to join her over, and that moment of hesitation, actually, maybe not going to matter with where the Molotov ended up landing, but Emily's got to try swing this.
1. Down to the clutch. Mira, what can you do? Lunari's trying to catch her off guard. Getting close to the dice box. Close to the cube. Audio cue's given over here. Lunari's thinking about the peek, thinking about risking it, and finds the timing. Indeed. Mira, indecision, not able to ascertain where her opponent was. And so it'll be a clutch taken by Nocturnal. And they are starting to make this reality here, if any.
I think they are. I also think that Mira ended up giving away a lot of information, reaching for that AK, switching from the A4 there, which meant that Lunari didn't really have to worry too much about the dance around. She kind of had a rough idea where she was and keeping that timing in the back of her mind about where she actually could rotate to. She just decided to focus all of her energy where she knew the weapon sounds had been made. Nice call, and she's going to come off looking much better for it. Just now, a couple of upgraded pistols and naded to High Kingdom come off the back of it. Emily, ooh, it's risky. HE in her face is going to hurt. Sevenlicious has found one, but, I mean, the rest of the team's melted away at the bone.
There's a chance for Ellie to maybe be a little bit of the fly in the ointment, but with Gadfly starting to encroach, that seems increasingly unlikely. Gonna take some really strong deagle work. And Mad's playing around her own flashbang, fearless into the fray. We'll make sure that that's not going to be a problem. Worst case scenario, Tori loses a gun and they pick it up. But that's not a scenario Tori's very interested in. There's an AK. But it won't be held for long.
No, it will not. And the gaping void between these two teams in terms of rounds on the board. Suddenly, blink and you miss it. There's only 2 rounds between them. And if they can win a round here, Money's going to be in an awkward situation, especially with Emily investing into that AWP. That might be one of the only times that they can get that on the board if this keeps on up. So Nocturnal, they've set themselves up pretty nicely. We talked about how they're a team that thrives in a little bit more of the chaos, thrives in that sort of mixed vibe and approach to the game, and it works really well on the T side. Look at the utility damage, exactly. Tori gets one, Sevenlicious to trade, can't quite find the second. Mads has found an exit out of the danger they're in and carved themselves an entrance in towards the site, but rotates on over pretty quickly, and they've got no presence over towards A or mid to really figure out if this is the right call, though.
This is the difference, though, you could see with Ghost with utility in hand, right? If they go for the more punishing, aggressive B main utility, that's what they want to have. And Malid hits a shot off that AWP. That's another key piece that they want to be bringing to the table. Risky placement on that smoke. This is low. Lunari, healthier player, going to be able to get that bomb planted on down. They're going for a boost. Assembling it with a rifle, not the AWP, but it's going to pay off. Ellie can peer over that smoke, and Lunari's caught flat-footed. Now they're in a lot of trouble. 3 players still to come back through. There's 2 kits available, and it make just Gadfly, who has to try and hold on to keep this team off double digits. Emily lighting the way with that AWP, and there's going to be a defuse to secure 10.
That is lovely. And you mentioned it, the boost, choosing to go with the rifle instead, whether that's any different with the AWP, it just gives them a little bit more option in case when they jump on up, they spot something that they weren't quite ready for, something a little bit horrifying, but it's handled very, very well. And I love the fact that with some of these peaks towards the end, the speed in which they go for it. If Ellie chooses to be a little bit more cautious with this, that means that Emily's left in a really awkward and uncomfortable clutch there, but no, I like it. They decide to ramp up the action. They decide to ramp up the volume, and now double digits and put themselves in a good position to continue this. Lovely hold in towards Cave here. Sevenlicious waiting for it. Tori potentially on the nasty end of a surprise here.
Oh, nice find for Sevenlicious. A little bit stuck, but there's 2 teammates close at hand, and that's very nicely done. Good setup. Well executed. Nocturnal left reeling, and that's just going to be a poke on in from Violet, hoping to find some sort of space. That space denied. Oh, now Mira completely overlooked. Oh, he's going to be able to find the one. Lunari's got a chance, but would have to go around the world to even get this bomb. Fortunately for Lunari, Ghosts don't know that. And so they have no clue But she has completely abandoned the A site. Though those audio cues, well, tip them off just a little bit that something might be amiss here. Oh, Piggy Kiki's drawing closer here on this flank. Trying to get this bomb is going to cost. Piggy Kiki just looks out. Timing is everything here, but something has drawn Piggy Kiki away. Some sort of inkling there has actually prevented the hammer from coming down on this one. And now Lunari gets another chance at this.
Not often you get a second stab, and here she goes. The unfortunate issue is that Emily is patient. She is diligent. That is just going to give away the location, and all she has to do is hold the line. She's been holding since the start. 11 on the board, and suddenly the end game is rearing its ugly head, and Nocturnal running out of opportunities, running out of money for these opportunities as well.
Lack of the bomb plan here costs. Can't really invest anything into this round if you're going to hope to have a gun to try and play for overtime. We'll see what they do. But certainly this one stings. Some investment, not much. Tori with the Deagle armor, best equipped to try and do something, anything about this round to try and keep Ghost off of series point. And we saw the difference. Once the util's out, once the op is out, you see what Ghost Gaming want to do.
Okay, here we go. Mira having a jump spot. She's going to be the first person. Spots a couple of heads. Goes for one more risky jump peek for good luck. HE to go deep. They've worked so well in the past. Ellie, there's the first. HE to go over. It's not quite deep enough to take down Gadfly, but it's going to keep them on the precipice here. And now gearing up for this A hit. They need to be careful. There's going to be a little bit of support nearby. Emily's got the first. Ellie has to double take there, and unfortunately that's all the time Violet needs to find the pick. But now they're stuck in Donut.
Oh boy. Fish in a barrel there. Fish in a barrel. Once they get stuck in that choke point, there's just nothing that they could do against the superior firepower of Ghost. One last hurrah. 5 rounds in a row needed if they're going to take this one to overtime. This is looking dire. But backs against the wall, sometimes that's when you find out how hard you can fight. Nocturnal right now need to find that fight. They need to find that energy. They need to find that resolve. Because there can be no more mistakes.
It's now or never.
Play here from Ghost. Look at these HEs. Woo-hoo-hoo. Somehow dodged. Gadfly manages to back away. Does not get her wings clipped.
Flash over the top. There's going to be a swing off the back of it. It comes a little bit earlier than she's expecting, but there it is. And there's the immediate fall back as well. That's all they need.
Got what you wanted. A swing back in. Mira now has left her teammate over towards A in a bit of a tough spot. You can see Ellie goes for the instant response. Takes space in towards A main. This can't be overlooked. Not this time. No, that almost cost them again. And it will. That's the bomb drop. If Ellie gets one other, okay. At least that wound is staunched. Band-Aid applied. But now they're trying to rotate back off. This is complete confusion for Nocturnal. They've misread this a little bit. And Sevenlicious, as she tucks in the corner here at Jaguar, gonna hear them walk past. Oh boy. Here's another one mantling up. Gone away. Knife out. And it's devastation. Sevenlicious. 3 quick kills to lock in the win. To lock in 3rd place. And lock in the series here for Ghost Gaming.
What a way to close that out there. Sevenlicious herself, an icon of the scene with an iconic play. And it looked like a